Abducted, not defeated. Marcus Blackwell woke up to the hum of alien machinery and the sharp sting of cold metal against his back. He tried to move. Nothing responded. Arms, legs locked. Even his neck was held still by a narrow clamp bracing his skull. The room around him glowed an unearthly blue, sterile and seamless. No seams in the walls. No visible doors. Just an arc of hovering instruments and a single figure looming over him. She was alien unmistakably. Tall, lean, and ethereal, with violet-tinted skin that shimmered like oil on water. Her eyes glowed faintly, pupils like hourglasses. Her voice, when it came, was smooth and accented in a way that made English sound like poetry. You're awake. Good. She tilted her head, examining him. You're remarkably calm for someone about to be dissected. Marcus blinked slowly. I'm guessing bedside manner isn't a Zentari specialty. The alien smiled. How did you know we were Zentari? He gave a half shrug. Well, imagined it. Your ships were the ones slicing satellites last year. I read the briefings. Government thought you were just testing cloaking fields. Guess they were wrong. She looked pleased. Impressive deduction for a brain about to be drilled. A soft chime echoed from a nearby console. She turned, fingers dancing over a translucent interface that responded to her touch with ripples of light. Metal arms descended from above, each tipped with tools that made Marcus's stomach knot. One humming with plasma energy, another with fine, spiraling needles. He felt his heartbeat climb. Name's Serix, she said casually. I'm a bio-extraction specialist. Don't worry. This procedure is painless. Marcus snorted. Yeah, and I'm a Queen of England. She chuckled, genuinely amused. Relax, human. This won't hurt. The tools began to move. Marcus closed his eyes and focused. He'd been trained for neural resistance during his time with the Special Forces, deep breathing, mnemonic flooding, and something called memory scrambling, a trick to overload hostile scans with decoys. As the probe touched his temple, he launched into it. A memory. A vivid, fabricated one. A field of burning sunflowers. Screaming. Blood on sand. A child's laughter warped into something demonic. He pushed more. Jumbled code. Math equations mixed with old radio jingles, military chants, pages of Shakespeare. All wrapped in chaos. The machine buzzed. Serix frowned. What is this? She murmured. Your mind is... The probe sparked. Her body jerked as if electrocuted. She staggered backward, clutching her head. The medical arms spasmed and retracted. Marcus felt the restraints slacken, the systems faltering. System overload. A robotic voice echoed from somewhere unseen. Neural feedback loop detected. He moved fast. Too fast for a restrained man who was supposed to be drugged. His right arm tore free first. He grabbed a thin, glowing scalpel from the tray beside him and used it to slice the remaining restraints. The slab hissed as he dropped to the floor. Serix was still reeling, kneeling on the ground, her glowing eyes wide with shock. You scrambled the probe, she gasped, stunned. That's not possible. Human brains don't. Marcus didn't wait for her to finish. He hit a panel on the wall with the butt of the scalpel. It sparked, but didn't open. He tried again. On the third strike, a seam appeared. A door hissed open. Serix looked up. You'll never get out of this ship. He paused in the doorway, silhouetted against the corridor's shifting lights. Watch me. And then he was gone. Negotiations by knife. The Zentari vessel was a maze of smooth corridors and shifting walls. Marcus moved like a ghost, barefoot and quiet, gripping the alien's scalpel tight. Every now and then, a lens embedded in the ceiling would rotate, scanning. He flattened against a wall and held his breath. The hum of energy shields vibrated in the air, subtle but ever-present. The ship was alive, fluid, reconfigurable, and watching. He ducked through a low passage and into what looked like a lab storage unit. Containers filled with floating organs, shimmering crystals, and neural webbing lined the walls. A set of curved doors hissed shut behind him. Marcus exhaled and crouched behind a thick stasis tank. He needed a plan. That was when the wall behind him slid open without a sound. You're harder to kill than I expected. came Serix's voice. Marcus spun, blade raised. She stood in the doorway, hands open, no weapon. Don't move, he said. She didn't. Why are you following me? He growled. You scrambled a neural probe designed to map entire species. I had to see how you did it. A weaponized PTSD and bad memories. Marcus snapped. Glad it hurt. She tilted her head. It didn't hurt. Not exactly. It disturbed me. Human minds are chaotic. Loud. I wasn't prepared. He stepped closer, blade between them. Start talking. Why am I here? Serix gestured to a stasis pod beside them. Inside floated what looked like a human brain, wired and humming. Your species is neurologically unstable, volatile. That makes your minds valuable. The ascendancy wants to enhance our psionic networks. Human brains process thought patterns that our kind suppress during youth. Emotion, instinct, creativity. Your minds are spicy. Great, Marcus said. We're exotic seasoning. She didn't deny it. Why me? You scored a 98.7 on our emotional volatility index. That's near psychotic. But somehow, you're still functional. That makes you perfect for extraction. He said. You lost your chance. Serix gave a faint smile. Yes, which is why I'm here to offer you a deal. He raised a brow. A deal? After you tried to fry my brain? I followed orders, she said calmly. I don't enjoy this work. I was born to it, grown, really, but I'm tired of being property. I want out. You want me to help you betray your people? Marcus asked. Why would I ever trust you? You shouldn't, she admitted. But I can get you off this ship. You can either die crawling around a war vessel with no idea how it works, or work with someone who does. He eyed her carefully. What's in it for you? I want asylum. Somewhere your people won't hand me back. In return, I give you freedom. And intel. He considered. She was clearly more valuable as an ally than as an enemy. But he'd been burned by slick words before. Still, options were thin. All right, he said. But if you double-cross me, I won't be scrambling your brain. I'll be carving it out. She smirked. I believe you. Marcus lowered the blade slightly. So what's the plan? Serix moved to the console and began pressing glyphs. There's a memory core in the control center, she said. It contains schematics, navigation data, and, most importantly, your world's catalog. Catalog, he echoed. Locations, populations, weak points. The probe wasn't just mapping you. It was scouting for invasion. Marcus clenched his fists. Figures. If we get that core, we can expose the Ascendancy's intentions before they act. He narrowed his eyes. And then you help me escape. I've already mapped a shuttle in the hangar. Cloaked. Old, but functional. We'll have one chance. Sounds simple, Marcus muttered. Serix looked at him, her expression unreadable. It won't be, but you're unpredictable. That's your advantage. They'll never expect you to think the way you do. He allowed himself a grim smile. That's because I don't think. I improvise. She raised her hand. Truce. He hesitated, then shook it. Her skin was cool, almost metallic. You're trusting me, she said, curious. I'm not. I'm just out of time. Human error detected. The control core was 2 levels down and guarded like a queen's vault. Serix led the way, flicking her fingers across wall panels that shimmered open like liquid. Marcus followed close, blade sheathed at his waist, now carrying a stolen Zentari energy pistol he barely knew how to use. They moved in silence until they didn't. The corridor twisted into a junction lit by red pulses. A Zentari sentinel rounded the corner. 4 arms, no face, and 2 plasma spears burning in its grip. Run, Serix started. Too late. Marcus dove left, rolling behind a curved pillar as the sentinel opened fire. Plasma bolts scorched the walls. He aimed the alien pistol and fired. Nothing happened. Safety rune, Serix snapped, throwing him a flat chip. Activate with your thumb. He slapped it to the gun's side. The pistol hummed to life. He popped up, aimed, and shot the sentinel center mass. The thing stumbled, but didn't drop. Of course it has armor, Marcus muttered. Serix raised her hand and unleashed a psychic blast. An invisible wave that hit the sentinel with concussive force. It crumpled, twitching. She staggered slightly. You okay? He asked. I used more power than I should have. Let's keep moving. They reached the control core door, smooth and unbroken. No handles, no keypads. By a lock, she said. Only an officer can open it. Marcus nodded. Then I'll improvise. He ran back to the downed Sentinel and pried a thin chip from beneath its armor, something close to an ID gland. He sprinted back and slapped it against the wall. The door hissed open. Serix blinked. That shouldn't have worked. Marcus shrugged. Human brains are good at shortcuts. Inside, the core was a domed chamber with a central column humming with light. Lines of alien script floated mid-air, data streams, navigation patterns, memory logs. There, Serix said, pointing. That node holds Earth's data. She moved to extract it, but alarm shrieked before she could touch it. Lockdown triggered, she hissed. A new figure entered. Tall, armored, with a regal stance. His features sharp and expressionless. A Zentari officer. His gaze locked on Serix. Traitor, he said in a tone of ice. Serix raised her hands. This doesn't concern you, Commander Vex. He didn't answer. He stepped forward, and in a blink, struck her across the room with a blast of psychic force. Marcus raised the pistol and fired twice. One bolt missed. The other hit Vex's shoulder. He flinched but didn't fall. Pitiful, Vex growled. He reached out psychically. Marcus felt his thoughts twist. Memories unspooling, dragged into the open. No, he focused, reached deep into the chaos of his mind and let it bloom. Laughter during a firefight. The stench of death. A dog he lost as a kid. Static radio. A friend's face blown apart in Hellmand. Vex staggered. You're loud. The commander growled. What are you? Human. Marcus spat, charging. He ducked the next wave of energy, slid across the floor, and stabbed the energy blade up into Vex's gut. Sparks erupted. Vex screamed, and then silence. Serix groaned, crawling to her feet. You stabbed a psychic officer, she said, amazed. He was rude, Marcus replied, grabbing the memory core and tossing it into a pack. She activated a side door. Emergency escape tunnel, she said. Straight to the hangar. Come on. They ran. Inside the hangar, the cloaked shuttle flickered into view as Serix keyed a remote. The sleek craft looked nothing like the organic design of the rest of the ship. It was old, blocky, and half covered in dust. We're stealing this, Marcus asked. It's the only thing not network-linked. That's our edge. They climbed inside. Serix slumped into the pilot's seat, hands trembling. Marcus frowned. You're hurt. She waved him off. Just drained. He looked at her, then at the blood on her side. You're not fine. She reached for a med pack, then hesitated. I need to regenerate, but I can't self-heal and fly. He sighed, unbuckled his seat strap, and pointed at the pod in the rear. Get in. I've flown worse things. She raised a brow. You've flown interstellar craft? I've flown helicopters while on fire. It's a mindset. She gave him a tired smile and headed for the pod. As she stepped in, she paused. Marcus. Yeah. This won't hurt. He snorted. That line's getting old. The ship roared to life, lights blinking, systems stabilizing. Marcus grabbed the yoke, eyes hard. Time to show them what human error really looks like. Broadcast or burn. The stolen shuttle shuddered as it broke free from the Zentari mothership's gravity well. Alarms blared. Systems flickered. Panels vibrated under Marcus's grip like the thing was going to fly apart at the seams. Come on, girl, he muttered through clenched teeth. Hold together. Behind him, Serix lay unconscious in the Regan pod, pale and twitching, her body bathed in pulsing green light. The damage from Vex's attack had cut deep, psionic overload combined with internal bleeding. She needed time the universe wasn't going to give. A Zentari destroyer loomed behind them on the radar, sleek and spear-like, engines blazing. Incoming fire lit up the shuttle's rear shields. Red warnings painted the cockpit display in alien glyphs Marcus had no time to translate. He flew erratically, jagged angles, hard rolls, desperate vectors. You want unpredictable, he growled at the stars. Try flying with no training manual. He spun the ship toward the asteroid field up ahead. Dense, moving, full of death. The kind of place no Zentari would follow. Too logical, too clean. But Marcus wasn't Zentari. He was human. Flawed, reckless, angry. And that was exactly the point. He plunged into the field, the ship scraping past tumbling rocks, shield warnings flashing red, hull groaning under the pressure. The Zentari destroyer hesitated, then broke off. Marcus hooped, "Eat rocks, you shiny bastards." But the victory was short-lived. The memory core, now slotted into the co-pilot's console, began pulsing red. Overheating. The data inside was unstable. He toggled the interface. The alien language scrolled faster than he could read. Then, in English, thanks to the ship's rudimentary translation AI, core integrity failing. Data loss imminent. No, no, no. He slammed the console. "Serix, I need you." She stirred in the pod, face contorted. "Marcus, the core's failing," he said. "We're gonna lose the intel." She struggled upright. Pain etched across her features. Then broadcast it. To who? Anyone. Everyone. He hesitated. "You sure? If the Ascendancy's plans are exposed, your world might unite before they come. It's your only shot." He didn't wait. He yanked a cord from the ship's comms, linked it to the memory core, and switched the transmitter to open frequency. "All right," he muttered. Time to scream into the void. He hit send. Across space, encrypted Zentari data ripped through subspace channels, scattering like broken glass. Picked up by Earth satellites, deep space observatories, and probably more than a few enemies. "Message sent," the ship announced. "Transmission irreversible." Marcus slumped back. For the first time in days, he let himself breathe. Then the proximity alarm screamed again. A smaller Zentari pursuit craft had followed them into the asteroid field. Fast, agile, no hesitation. They adapted, Serix rasped, dragging herself to the co-pilot's seat. "They're learning." "Well," Marcus said, gripping the yoke again, "let's teach him the cost of catching up." The ship rattled violently as they dove deeper into the debris field. The Zentari ship was relentless, tailing them through every twist. One hit, and their shields dropped to 3%. Serix pointed. "There, that rock. Huge mass, dense core. If we loop it right." Marcus didn't need more. He banked hard, skimming the asteroid, then spun the ship 180 degrees, flipping end over end. The Zentari craft pursued, and Marcus fired a single plasma torpedo at the asteroid's base. The rock split open with a roar, and a wave of debris smashed into the Zentari ship, tearing its hull. It careened into another asteroid and exploded in a white-blue flash. Silence. "Nice shot," Serix said weakly. Marcus exhaled. "I never want to fly again." They drifted clear of the field. The stars beyond were quiet. No more pings on the radar. But Earth lay ahead, distant and unaware. Soon the governments of his world would be receiving data they wouldn't understand, evidence of a threat they weren't ready for. "We did it," Serix said, slumping back. "They'll know now." "Yeah," Marcus murmured. "And they'll panic. Then they'll argue. Then maybe, just maybe, they'll get ready." She looked at him. "What will you do?" He gazed at the pale blue dot far ahead. "Warn them. Train them. Fight back." "And me?" she asked quietly. Marcus gave her a look. "You helped save my planet. You've earned your place. Let's find you a home." Serix closed her eyes. "You humans, you never give up." He smirked. "Nope. And we're just getting started." The stars opened before them. And for the first time, the galaxy would learn what humans really were. Stubborn, unpredictable, and very, very hard to kill.